first two pieces I selected were by Sam Suggs, and one was called Postlude and Petrichor. It's a really beautiful sort of like Civil War melody with a lot of harmonics and a lot of open resonance of the instrument, and then the second was a much quicker Dragonetti waltz.
Today's guest. This is his third time on the podcast already. He's in the early years of his career, but he's done so much, and he's just one of my favorite people. I'm Jason Heath. This is Contrabass Conversations. We are chatting today with Aaron Olguin, who opened the International Society of Bassists 2019 convention. He was one of the headliners, played the classical recital fabulously. I got a chance to play with him at ISB 2019 on a trio with Andrés Martín and Aaron and me. That was an honor. We talk about that. We were just about, I think, to go play that trio when we sat down live at the convention to talk. Talked about his new position with the Trondheim Symphony and much more. Such an interesting artist, great performer, and just a heck of a nice guy. You're really going to enjoy today's conversation. And a quick shout out to our sponsors, D'Addario Strings Upton Bass, the Bass Violin Shop, Texas Hill Country Bass Collective, A440 Strings, and Colstein Music. It's a short one, folks, so that's all you're going to hear about from them. Thank you so much for keeping the lights on here for the podcast. And let's dig into today's conversation with Aaron Olguin. Aaron Olguin, howdy. Back on the podcast, round two.
Yes.
Last time we were talking for the podcast, we were in Tijuana, Mexico.
Tijuana, Mexico.
Yep, for Andrés Martín's
Yep.
Bass Festival. And now here we are. We just got done rehearsing with Andrés for his recital today. We're playing his trio, and you played with Andrés on your opening night headliner recital.
Yes, Tangos.
Yep, and so good to have you back.
Yes, good to be back.
Good to hang in person again.
Yes.
And talk through your program, which was brilliant, both in what you picked and the flow between the pieces and just everything. Just tell us what people who didn't see it missed.
Yeah, so the program I selected, I wanted to get as much new music for the bass out there that was really accessible and anybody could play, and sort of accessible even for a general audience that doesn't know much about the double bass. And I wanted repertoire that was able to showcase the different facets of the instrument, like the different colors and techniques, extended techniques. So the first two pieces I selected were by Sam Suggs, and one was called Postlude and Petrichor. It's a really beautiful sort of like Civil War melody with a lot of harmonics and a lot of open resonance of the instrument, and then the second was a much quicker Dragonetti waltz. So it kind of showcased everything right away. So it was really fun to be able to do that, and it's solo bass, and which is so cool. I really love that there's so much new solo bass music out there that can be played, and people can just pick up, and it can just be in a big recital like that, and people really enjoy the repertoire. And then the second thing on the program was a work by Andrés Martín. It's the first movement of his solo sonata for double bass, and I segued right into the Sarabande of the Second Suite by Bach, and they ended in the same key, and I thought, man, what a beautiful transition. It would actually work really well to kind of get like a second movement feel of the whole four-piece recital program. And then the third piece I played was Tres Tangos with Andrés, and they're these really, really fast and exciting and also extremely romantic second movement pieces that really showcase everything about the double bass, from harmonics to extended techniques to quick scales and also to just really percussive double bass playing from especially from the second part. It was really, really fun to play with him, and he's such a extreme player, and I really love the energy he puts into the tangos. He knows what's going on with that. It's really awesome.
Yes.
And then the last thing I had on the program was an arrangement I did of the Brahms Piano Trio, number 1. We just did the first movement, and I had a couple colleagues of mine that go to Indiana University, and we played in Canada last summer, and we met again here, and we decided to play this together. And it's just one of those pieces that I think works really well on the double bass, and it's extremely expressive, and it tells a wonderful story, and I really enjoyed working on it, and I think it just really showcased the double bass like all of the other pieces on the program. So I ended with that. But it was a really exciting program, and I really enjoyed playing for such a vivid and accepting audience. It's really fantastic.
And we caught that on Facebook Live, so we got some video of that, so I can
Yes.
make sure to link up to that. And then I also heard you on Dominic Wagner's recital. You
Yes.
played with him, too. What did you do there?
We did the Glier duos for violin and cello. And we had been in touch about wanting to play together for a long time, and he stayed with me at the Braditich competition. And we really hooked up, and we just started kind of reading through some duets there, and then we decided we should play something at some point. And then kind of last minute, actually, we decided to play these duets together, and we worked together like maybe 3 or 4 days before, and we put it together, and it sounded fantastic. And he's such a great player, and he had an amazing recital, and it's. Yeah. So the one thing about my program too is to show the different ways that double bass can be played by itself in chamber music, and all of that music being really exciting and accepting. It's just fantastic. So this was another really good example of a chamber music setting for the double bass, and it working really well with these pieces.
Do you do a lot of arranging? Have you done a lot of arranging?
Yeah, right now I'm doing a lot of that, just sort
That's
of
awesome.
figuring out where the double bass can kind of fit into different things and trying things. Some things obviously don't work at all, but it's really fantastic to just sort of see how it evolves in a chamber music setting. So just trying to find quartets and trios and duos and sort of things like that, and things with piano, of course, and making arrangements of things like that. Yeah, but it really helps you kind of just see how it works within the extremities of the double bass. Just seeing how it functions in different settings.
Last time we were chatting, 6 months ago or so, you were getting ready to move to Trondheim.
Yeah.
So now that that's happened,
Yes.
talk about what's that place like? What's the job like? What's the country like? What have your experiences been?
Yeah, Trondheim is fantastic, and the orchestra is amazing, and especially the bass section is super on all the time. I really love that. Whenever we hit the downbeat, everybody just turns on right away, and it's so fantastic. I really feel like I don't have to do much. With the bass players, and they're really amazing people. The culture life is phenomenal. Everybody's really accepting, and one thing I really enjoyed, especially about Trondheim culture, is that they really value intimate relationships with people. I thought that was really nice. So whenever you ask, how you're doing, it's a genuine how you're doing, and they will tell you how they're doing, and you can talk. And somebody said they're if you meet a Norwegian, they're a friend for life, because they just really they're invested in you, and that's a part of their culture, to be invested in the things that they do and love. So that's kind of how I felt with the orchestra. As soon as I got the position, they really took me in and have been really accepting and really open about different ideas, and are always willing to talk. And it's really a beautiful journey.
I'll bet. I got to ask you on a different subject, but I don't remember if we talked about this in Mexico or not. But you use it's like the shoulder rest, but for the bass.
Yes, the
Did
ergo
we talk
bass.
about that? I don't think we did.
So. The ergo bass by Petra Yuga.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful, like sort of shoulder rest looking thing that you put in the back of the instrument, and the one reason why he designed it actually was because he had back problems, and he was trying to find a way to sit with the double bass where he can put both feet on the floor and not have to lift the leg up, and kind of get the same angle of putting your leg up on the stool. So he designed it mostly for that, but then he also found afterwards that there was kind of like a side effect, that the sound actually got a little bit more resonant and projected a little bit more because your leg isn't touching the back of the instrument when you're sitting down. And you have both feet on the floor, so you have a straight lumbar when you're playing. And it gives you the really nice trajectory of the instrument. So it's really fantastic, and people in the section actually bought a bunch of them, and they really enjoy playing them as well, and it kind of helps them with their posture a lot and sound production. And especially in a big hall, you can hear the difference. I really, truly think you can hear the difference. There's just something about the way the sound kind of goes out, and it's sort of like the sound that you get whenever you're standing with the instrument, except now you're sitting down. that same projection and clarity and sort of resonance that you get. So it's really nice. And so I've been using it since the last ISB convention. Actually, I bought my first one from Petri Yuga at the last ISB convention. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it seems cool. I'd love to play around with it, and it makes so much sense because you're muting you're muting the back, you're muting maybe the rib too, to an extent, but like it and that unless you're standing, there's a significant part of your body that's like, up against the back. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's great.
So I really am happy that he made this, and it's really, and you can, the cool thing about his design too is that you can adjust how far away it is from the bass. You can get it further away, you can get it really close in. And also if you have a round back instrument, it works just as well. It doesn't touch the back. A flat back instrument, it kind of gives you just a little bit more push away from the instrument, but again, whenever you put out the end pin and sort of set it on your leg, it has that same projection from standing. It's really fantastic and comfortable. So,
what's the rest of the summer look like for you? We're here in Indiana. You're from Texas. You're living over in Europe. What are you up to the next couple months?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the Braditich Masterclass. I'm going to do a little bit of work there with him. I'm going to play, I think, an opening recital there, I think Monday night. And as far as I know, Andrés Martin's also going, and we'll play on that opening recital together too. We'll play these stress tangos again, and I'll do a little bit of teaching, and hopefully we're going to, Andrés and I want to record these stress tangos and put them out there for everybody. So that's sort of on the docket for this summer. So keep an eye out for that recording. It should be coming out soon, hopefully.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
That's exciting. One of my favorite people, and it's been so fun playing with you these last 6 months.
Yep.
We played some duos at Andres' event back in November, and now we're playing this trio, and love what you do, Aaron.
Thank you, man. I'm
Always
looking
a pleasure.
forward to the next time.
Aaron, thank you so much. This is the third time you've been on the show, but it will not be the last. We have much more to talk about in the future, and I really hope you are enjoying these live mini-sodes, and some of them are longer episodes, as you'll see. From ISB 2019, I had a blast. I'm so thankful to D'Addario Strings for setting up a booth for the podcast, and it was great. Lots of photos, lots of videos, all that kind of stuff from the convention. And if you want to follow along with that and kind of live vicariously through what I was doing, what Aaron was doing, and these other folks were doing, you can go to contrabassconversations.com. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram. You can sign up for our email list, and we send out emails not only about what's up in the bass world, but also about new music and resources and all that kind of stuff. And download our app. I haven't talked about the app a lot, but I'm really excited about the app again. After having a bunch of conversations with people at ISB, I realized I have been negligent in what I could do with this app, so I'm really fleshing it out. I'm trying to make it the best possible resource you can have for the bass. It's totally free on any platform. Search for it wherever you get your apps, or go to contrabassconversations.com/app. Contrabass Conversations is produced by Michael Cooper, Steve Hinchy, Trevor Jones, and Mitch Mooring, award-winning bass luthier, and bass maker, rather, Mitch Mooring. He won a silver medal for tone at ISB 2019. He's doing great things. MitchMooring.com will put you in touch with him. And thank you to Krista Copper of the Backstage Creative Podcast, who goes through and catalogs and archives everything we talk about on this show. Much appreciated, Krista. I'm your host, Jason Heath, and we will see you again soon for more life on the low end of the spectrum.